Spirits do not always linger in the living world out of hatred or vengeance. Sometimes the heaviest chain that binds a soul to the earth is a hollow promise, unfulfilled expectation. They remain trapped in the vacant space of their own homes, entirely unaware that their physical bodies have already died, waiting endlessly for a knock on the door that never comes. One day, a woman with two children came to our sanctuary. Her face was tight with worry. My younger sister refuses to stay in the apartment alone. She explained. She says the air feels heavy, raising us. If a silent presence is constantly watching her from the center of the room. Please help us. My brother beat his shamanic drum, and his inner sight opened. There wasn't an entity hiding in the walls, no. The soul of a man was standing right there, enjoying itself completely to the empty space of that home. A week later, we arrived at their apartment to perform the ritual. At the time, my brother was still young and reckless. The moment we stepped into the freezing apartment, he immediately put on his heavy leather-heroic armor, raised his drum, and attempted to drive the spirit out by sheer spiritual force. Suddenly, the air in the room turned to ice. My brother's breath hitched, his chest heaving as an invisible pressure pushed back against him. Leave this house, my brother commanded, striking his drum violently. But from the empty space in the center of the room, a booming, furious voice echoed back, shattering the silence. You leave. Who do you think you are, bursting into my home and trying to banish the master of this house? Realizing his raw power wasn't enough, my brother immediately let his consciousness fade, allowing his ancestral spirit, the Ongod, take his body. The ancient spirit manifested, looked back at my brother's soul in the dark, and barked a furious lesson. You fool! You do not attack lingering soul with brute force. First, find out why he is bound here. The spirit then turned to me. To she pour a cup of vodka and light a cigarette, placed them in the eastern corner of the room. I quickly prepared the offering as the spirit of the house accepting vodka and the smoke. The violent tension in the air began to soften into profound sadness. The entity truly had no idea it was dead. It was just guarding its territory, waiting. The Ongod. He stands in the void, watching the town, guarding the threshold, thought his body is gone, unaware that his flesh has returned to the clay. He counts every shadow, he counts every day, bound by the memory of face behind glass. I looked at the terrifying glass. He refused to fade, he refused to pass. I looked at the terrified family and translated the ancient verse. This spirit is the father and master of this home. He doesn't even realize he's passed away. He is waiting for a person who wears glasses and he cannot leave until they arrive. The moment the words left my mouth, the child burst into violent tears. It's dead. The older sister sobbed, covering her face. It's our dad. Gently, my brother explained to the father's spirit that his mortal life had ended 4 years ago, and that it was time to cross over. The spirit began to weep silently through the cold air. The father's soul whispered, "Please, do not force me out yet. Give me just 3 days. In 3 days I will leave this world on my own." The Ongod then looked at the children and delivered a chilling warning through me. The person with glasses, his wife, will end it arrive in exactly 3 days. But she will not be alone. She will bring a stranger, a foreigner, with her. You must never, under any circumstance, allow that stranger to step across this threshold. This is your father's final boundary. After the ritual, I sat down with the oldest sister to understand the tragedy. 7 years ago, their mother had abandoned her husband and 2 children to go to Germany. 2 years later, the father fell terminally ill. The children called their mother, beginning her throat tears. "Mom, Dad is dying, please come home." But the mother refused, claiming she was living there illegally and couldn't leave the country without being banned. The father spent his final days staring at the front door, waiting until he finally died of a broken heart 4 years ago. But the mother hadn't been trapped by immigration laws. She had simply built a new life. She had remarried. The older sister wiped her bitter tears and whispered the ultimate truth. My mother is actually returning to Mongolia in exactly 3 days. She is coming back to sell this apartment, and she is bringing her new foreign husband with her. Wearing this, the younger brother collapsed against the wall, weeping uncontrollably. How could she? He screamed into his hand. My poor father. His soul didn't even know he was dead. He spent 4 years wandering this empty living room, staring at that door, just waiting for her to come back to him. He had waited for in life, and his soul had guarded that empty space for 4 long years in death. And all the while, she was holding another man's hand. 3 days later, the father's spirit saw her face on the last time, protected his threshold from stranger, and finally vanished into the void.